Once upon a time, in the prosperous town of Ogba, there lived a beautiful woman called Yamomi. She was the daughter of Akoni, a very powerful god who had been married to her mother, a human, for a short period of time before he returned to the heavens to reign among other gods. The villagers of Ogba were unaware that Yamomi's father was a god, and her mother never revealed the truth about his absence to them. They believed that Yamomi's mother was simply a woman left to raise a child on her own by her husband. As a result of her origins, Yamomi was not only beautiful, she was also powerful like her father. She had control over water bodies and all that lived in them. However, her mom raised her to hide her powers and live like a normal average human. When Yamomi came of age, she got married to Agiju, who was the king of Ogba at that time, a strong warrior who derived his powers from the ancient forest that surrounded Ogba. Agiju's birth was also mysterious. He was gifted to his parents by the spirits of the ancient forest. The story goes that the old king of Ogba had been childless for 15 years, and out of desperation, he pleaded with the spirit of the ancient forest for a child, and he was blessed with Agiju, a mysteriously strong child who had the backing of the spirits of the ancient Ogba forest. And it was widely believed that as long as the forest expanded and grew, so will Agiju's power and strength. Agiju, being a mysterious being himself, could sense that Yamomi was more than a human, but he respected her choice to be silent about her origins, and he never brought it up with her. However, unlike his wife, Agiju took pride in his own powers, and news of his strength spread far and wide. Everyone knew that the ancient Ogba forest fueled Agiju and made him untouchable. Meanwhile, around that same period, Esuru, a valiant king of the Eregba Empire, a neighboring empire, was leading his army and conquering large towns in a bid to expand his empire. Esuru had ransacked some small villages governed by Ogba, but Agiju and his people did not mind. They gave it no attention. Agiju was too confident in his powers, and he did not believe that Esuru would be bold enough to launch a huge attack against great Ogba. Yamomi warned him to take steps to protect his people, but Agiju and his men ignored her. Everyone knows how powerful Agiju is. Who would dare invade Ogba? This was always the response of the Council of Elders whenever Yamomi brought up the need to fortify the empire and prepare the warriors for battle against Esuru. One fateful morning, Ogba was up in smoke, and the smell of burning bush filled the air. Everyone rushed out of their houses. Lo and behold, the ancient forest, the ancient Ogba forest itself, was on fire. Pandemonium broke out. People ran helter-skelter. Some started packing up their belongings. They were scared that the fire would eventually spread to their homes. Agiju's palace was also in disarray. The councilmen and elders were all speaking over each other, and they were calling for the king. Yamomi, on the other hand, stood with her arms folded and wept silently.
Agiju,
the councilmen shouted, calling to their king for help. Agiju came out of his power room, decked in charms. But unfortunately, with every step that he took, he got weaker and weaker, and eventually his knees sagged and he fell. The councilmen and elders screamed as their king fell. And finally, it dawned on them. The ancient Ogba forest was the source of Agiju's strength. And as the forest burned, the king, Agiju, was losing his powers. They carried Agiju up and sat him on the throne, but his shoulders sagged and his head hung in defeat. Just then, there was a war cry, and war drums started beating. A palace guard ran in to inform the king that Esuru and his men were at the border and marching towards Ogba. The Balogun, who was the head of the warriors of Ogba, ran out immediately to assemble his men to defend the kingdom, but they all knew that it was too late. For without the powers of their king, without the powers of Agiju, Ogba was going to crumble and laid to waste. Yamomi knew she had to do something. She couldn't sit by and watch her people perish. So, she got up. She left the palace and went into the midst of the town people. She told the warriors to run ahead of her and tell everyone in the town of Ogba to stay clear of her. The warriors were confused. But right there before everyone, Yamomi melted into a pool of rushing water. Everyone screamed and ran away from the gushing water. But Agiju, now frail and pale, told the people not to be scared and to do exactly as Yamomi ordered. The warriors then ran ahead of the rushing water, warning the people of Ogba to stay out of the path of the water, which was now gushing violently and making its way to the border of Ogba towards Isuru and his warriors. And with a loud roar, she swept them away. She flowed into the surrounding forest, the ancient forest of Ogba, and she quenched the fire that was burning and raging through the forest. Then she flowed out of Ogba and stayed at its border. Yamomi sacrificed herself for her people, and on that day, she delivered the people of Ogba from the war and the inferno that would have destroyed them. She never returned to her human form, and she became a large river of water. The people of Ogba built her a shrine, and she became the water goddess, worshipped by all. In fact, it is widely believed that major rivers of the world have their origin and source from Yamomi, the courageous woman who sacrificed herself for her people.